but it was your community that was praying for you. You know, the group of sisters that was praying for you in the back of the church, the group of the men's choir that was praying for you when because you didn't make choir practice, and they know you was out there working too hard to the point where you possibly could lose your family. It was community. We was all at one. We had a common goal. Now, unfortunately, now like Louis said, was a lot of us are individualistic. We got the individualistic mindset. If I'm success, I'm not gonna worry about mistaken. I'm not gonna worry about Sweeney. I'm not gonna worry about you, JR. I'm not, because I'm good. My family good. My immediate family good. Okay, what about your extended family? That's a part of the community. That's a part of making us better as a whole.
Biblically, God never endorses isolation in life at all. We all need somebody. Whether you're married or not, we need friendships. The Bible says where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, I'm in the midst. He's always been about fellowship, unity, to this degree that God says an abomination is they that sow discord amongst family. He hates separation of humanity. And for us to continue to push a message that is secular, a message that is antichrist, I don't need anybody, that's usually rooted in hurt. It's usually rooted in rejection. It's usually rooted in abandonment because you've been crushed emotionally. So in order for you to function, you've created this idea of I don't need anybody, when the truth is you're saying I don't want to be hurt by anybody. So you push everybody away, and then you give yourself this false pacification of you don't need. And God is like, I'm trying to send you people, friends, relationships, marriage that would make you better, but you've created this falsified fantasy of I'm good by myself. Then you get 70, 80 years old, realize that you were isolating, suppressing, now you're depressed, and you feel like God let you down. And he said, no, I didn't let you down, you didn't let me in.
All right. We all need community. I'm going to start with you, Luis. What are your thoughts about this, sir? See if they're left. You're on mute, just so you know.
Can you hear me now? All right, great. That was really good. That was really, really, really good. I think that was perfect, and I think that it's a clear response to this sort of I could do bad all by myself. I don't need nobody. You know what I'm saying? This very, one man is an island. And in reality, could be further from the truth. I understand that it does root from hurt. It does root from some sort of trauma. It does root from poor past experiences that I don't think people have either grown or healed from. Because the truth is, he is right. We do need each other. We have more in common than we don't. When you're in community with people, that you have a like-mindedness, whether it's a brotherhood, whether it's just people who you share the same faith with, you share the same core family values, right? You're there for each other. You have conversations that are sometimes uncomfortable to make you, get comfortable, right? Nobody grows in a vacuum or a silo. And unfortunately, we have really coddled a lot of people in this country. We've made things very comfortable. You know what I'm saying? We've made things too convenient. People can't be bothered. There used to be a time that people took pride getting up early in the morning to start their day. Now people get up at like 11 o'clock in the morning talking about they're tired, and they done slept at least 10 to 12 hours. Right? They can't be bothered to get up to go to church. They can't be bothered to get up and go to the gym. Right? Where do they teach that at? And unfortunately, that has become the anchor of a lot of people's ilk. It has really, really brought a lot of people down. And because of that, I tend to see a lot more people, be a lot more depressed, a lot more introverted, a lot more closed off from the world, from their family, from their friends, right? And there's nothing wrong with taking some time to yourself. Please, by all means, we all need to decompress, and we all have our own ways of channeling and handling things. But when you've taken it to an extreme level where you start to live this sort of new lifestyle that is outside of the normalities in which you grew up in which you were cultured in, it becomes to start to plague you. And then we got a culture of people who start to adapt that same mindset. Now we don't have one strong unity. We don't have one strong, land, right? We have an archipelago of people. Everybody's on their own island, separate from one another. So I yield right there.
All right, go ahead, Mila. I can come back to you. I just want to make. I'll come back to you. Go ahead, brother Hank.
Well, we need a community. I definitely agree with that for sure. I like with the. I think he's a pastor, right? He's a pastor, right? I believe he is. I like what he said. It definitely make a lot of sense. Um, but as far as me, community is a group of like-minded people, family, and we all. Let me say, and I say we all know. For me, my mindset, you don't have to be the same last name or same bloodline to be family. Friends can be family. Doesn't matter as long as we are all the same in one accord. We can create something powerful and beautiful. So I'm all about us needing the community because in the big picture, that's what allowed us to get as far as Black people as we have today because of community. Somebody along your life was praying for your ass, knowing you was out there doing wrong, taking chances, staying out late, doing questionable shit that you probably shouldn't have been doing. Somebody prayed for you. That was your community praying for you. That was your grandmother, going to midday service at prayer meeting and asking for prayer for my grandchild because he know he was on the verge of either of possibly being great or being a criminal. But it was your community that was praying for you. The group of sisters that was praying for you in the back of the church, the group of the men's choir that was praying for you because you didn't make choir practice, and they know you was out there working too hard to the point where you possibly could lose your family. It was community. We was all at one. We had a common goal. Now, unfortunately, now like Louis said, was a lot of us are individualistic. We got the individualistic mindset. If I'm success, I'm not gonna worry about mistaking. I'm not gonna worry about Sweeney. I'm not gonna worry about you, JR. I'm not because I'm good. My family good. My immediate family good. Okay, what about your extended family? That's a part of the community. That's a part of making us better as a whole. So I'll land it there.
Hold on, Hinky. You said your extended family. You said extended family. What do you mean by that? I mean, just like your
My
distant
extended
cousin.
family is what I like with friends. My friends, I consider those extended part of my family, not my immediate family, like my son, my daughter, and my fiance. I'm talking about extended family, like uncles, aunties, second cousins, all of that. Friends, people who I grew up with, I consider family. Those are part of my extended family.
Yeah, I think what you said is pretty good. I do think a lot of people need to get their house in order because it's kind of hard for you to focus outside with everybody else when your house is not even in order. And a lot of times people worried about what everybody else is doing and they shit not together. So I think we can build better communities if we get house in order first, and then hopefully the kids and the wife and the cousins, maybe when we all come together, they can see how things are ran, how things are done, and then it can be an influence with everyone else, and then we can start touching everybody else. But I think if your house ain't in order, it's going to be difficult for you to try to do any other good work outside of that. Go
Yeah,
ahead,
I mean,
Mistake.
I'm all for that, brother. Right on.
Yeah, go ahead, Mistake.
I agree. Just biologically, the way that we're built for relationships. We're not built to be isolated. And when I hear people say, "Oh, I did it all by myself," no, there's somebody along the way that helped you, and you have to recognize that. And this idea of even like with the topic that we talked on, she critiqued yesterday, was about I can do bad by myself. We did discuss that, and even within that, there's still a level of relationship that you have to even come to that determination, right? So it is just instinctual. I remember reading a study that was saying, especially for men, that they were saying that this is partly why there have been increases in suicide among men, was their lack of relationship with others. And that they need to build their community. Not saying that it has to be a whole bunch of people. You can have one other person. And the study was comparing countries, and it was saying that the country that had the longest life span rate among men were those, I can't remember which country it was, dang it, was because part of that culture was community amongst men. That was just a grounding within their culture. And so when we talk about there is no community, I think people are talking about one aspect of like how it was back in the day when you were in your neighborhood and everybody kind of worked together. But we have moved away from large communities. But I do think like what JRU was saying in terms of starting with your family first, that's your foundational community. But you want to make sure that you build that so then that can broaden out to others so you can build a bigger community. But we do rely on each other, whether we like to admit it or not. We do. We need each other.
And just to add on to that as well, I think some people think their house is in order and they have no idea that it's in chaos. One of the things that I do advise people to do, and it may be a good exercise for everyone, including myself, is to ask your spouse, am I a good husband? Am I a good wife? Is there anything better that I can do? Ask your son, ask your daughter, how am I as a father? How am I as a mother? Is there anything that I'm not doing that you would like to see more of? I don't think people even take the time to have these conversations to ask these questions because you got to be self-aware and not be able to take things as a personal attack, but look at it from the growth mindset and saying, hey, I want to do better. You can always do something better. You can always be a better barber, Sweeney. You can always make better videos, Biz. You can always design a little bit better, Luis. I mean, these are things that, I can always be a better moderator. I can always do better in how I prepare a show. But I think that we have to attack things in that way if we want to see some growth. But we got to at least start having these conversations and start making sure that we are striving to be better. Because nobody knows it all. And nobody's an expert. There's always a better way you can do it, but you have to start within your community, and your community is your family. And sometimes you might not be able to make the difference in the world, but you can make the difference in the people that's going to be attached to that future. Mm-hmm. And hopefully the people that you encounter, because once you start changing things up, the people that you encounter, they're going to start seeing a different you. There's always somebody that's paying attention to you, even though they don't tell you that they're paying attention to you, but they're looking up to you. They may be trying to celebrate you failing. But whatever it is that you're doing, there's always somebody watching you, whether it's good or bad.